Why is it that men get inordinately upset when they see women living their best lives, single and child free?
Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we'll be talking about why men hate child-free and unmarried women. So I'll put the videos together so that you watch and learn.
Why is it that men get inordinately upset when they see women living their best lives, single and child free? I've seen more than one video at this point where men are making responses to women posting about their free weekends and what they do on their weekends because they're young and they don't have kids and they're just enjoying their life and they're sleeping in and cooking and enjoying their hobbies. And men feeling some kind of need to respond to these things with, oh, well, her life is so sad. She doesn't even realize how sad her life is because she doesn't have a husband and she doesn't have kids. It's really pathetic. It's just like men clearly need to feel needed and wanted by women. And when they see that women are living their lives happily and that they don't need men and they don't need children to be happy, it gets them really upset. It gets them really in their feelings. So I think it's really men that need women, and it's not the other way around. Men are actually really bad at forming friendships, and their own friends are actually likelier to stab them in the back, sleep with their girlfriends, and even kill them. Men need to learn how to form relationships, not even just romantic relationships, but also friendships. They need to learn how to cultivate their relationships, and they also need to learn how to treat women and how to respect women so that they don't end up alone and unhappy. Because the reality is that it's men who are ending up alone and unhappy, it's not women. And a lot of the times it's because they played all the women that wanted to be with them when they were younger, or they didn't treat their children well. So they're ending up alone in nursing homes at the age of like 45, having had a heart attack, and there's nobody around that cares about them. So these men on the internet who keep on telling women, oh, you're going to die alone with 30 cats and you're going to be single and unhappy, that's just them projecting their own future and their own fears.
One thing men hate more than women with children: single child-free women who don't center their lives around them. I mean, what else do I need to say? This comment said everything. What else do I need to say? And until they understand why this whole male loneliness epidemic is only going to get worse. It's going to get worse because if they can't see why more and more women don't want children, don't want marriage, don't want to live with a man, would rather be single, etc., etc., if they don't open their damn eyes, I actually kind of feel sorry for them. I mean, not enough to do something about it, and not enough to do the work for them, but just enough to make me feel like, hey, maybe you should do something about it before it's too late. I said this before, but a lot of these people still think it's 1950. And they're wondering why they don't have their 1950s housewife who cooks and cleans and stays barefoot and pregnant. When that was like over 70 years ago.
A lot of men, not all men, a lot of men get upset when you are young, single, beautiful, and childless. Let's talk about it. Y'all be ready to villainize a lot of women because they don't have children and they're not planning to have children. And to me, it's like, that's not on everybody's 2024 bingo card. Y'all supposed to be protectors and providers, and a lot of y'all barely do that. And y'all be in the comments talking about choose better, choose better. And when women do choose better, it's a problem. And a lot of men know that even if you have children that are not theirs, it's still a way of control because they know you can't hop and bounce and do what you want to do when you want to do it on your time because you have children you have to look after. So it makes you more stable. It makes you stay in the same places. It makes you do the same things repetitively, knowing that you have to provide for your children. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because when you're a mom, you should do it to the fullest. You should want to be a great mom. You should want to create a lifestyle for your children that's consistent. But when you don't have to be consistent in any routines because you don't have no kids, girl, men want to eat you alive. oh, she's this, oh, she's that, oh, she's always outside. Well, baby, I can do that. I don't have no kids. I don't have no responsibilities. I can do what I want. Oh, you need to be doing this with your career. Baby, if I want to stay in a career where I'm only making enough money to support me, what's the problem? It's only me. And I think this applies to all women. Men do not like it. Like, I had an ex-boyfriend. He used to be so mad because when we'd get into arguments, like, I'd get on flights and like go out the country with my friends, because it used to be like a thing. This is back like maybe 2-3 years ago. You could catch like a red eye to London. Like, I could leave Chicago like 8 p.m. at night and be at London at 6 a.m. in the morning. And I have a lot of friends in Europe, and like they'd be like, oh, Bianca, you can stay at my house, you can stay here, like just book your flight. And the flights used to be dirt cheap, so I used to go to Europe a lot. So we'd get in an argument, I'd get on the flight, be in London. He would be pressed. Like, he'd wake up the next morning calling me, but baby, the phone's not going through because I'm in Europe. And my thing is this: I just want young women to understand, y'all don't have to subject yourself to anything. You can make enough money to support yourself, spend your money on what you want to spend your money on, pay your bills, and do you. You don't have to be anything toxic. You don't have to, you don't have to be stable, especially as a black woman, because I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but my parents, they kind of make me not scared. They're okay with me traveling, but like me living on my own and moving to a different state, they're kind of weary about. But I did it anyway, so it's one of those things where you just got to make your life about you, and decenter men, but center yourself. Do what makes you happy. Stop living your life for so many people's accolades, because baby, they'll never give it to you. I have an older sister, and she literally does what makes her happy. If she doesn't want to go to a family event, she will tell my mom, my dad, everybody, like, no, I'm not doing that because I don't want to do that. That doesn't align with me right now. And she literally lives her life to the point where she is the happiest person I know. She takes such good care of herself. She's beautiful. She gets all her hours of sleep. She doesn't have no man stressing her. She lives with her boyfriend. Boyfriend pays all the bills. She lives a very, very soft life. Like, she just does what she wants, and she doesn't care what anybody says. My parents are like, no, you shouldn't shack up, you shouldn't do this. And she's like, no, I'm doing what I want. You get what I'm saying? She doesn't care. And I'm not saying be reckless and put yourself in harm's way, but do what you feel is right in your heart. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
The video, guys. So I'm just here also to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video: why men hate child-free and unmarried women. In today's world society, more women are choosing to remain child-free and unmarried, yet this decision continues and spark controversially and resentment from men. Many feel uneasy about the idea of women rejecting traditional roles, seeing it as a challenge to the status question. For generations, marriage and motherhood have been considered a woman's highest calling, and when a woman steps away from these expectations, it unsettles those who believe these roles define femininity. Some men interpret these choices as selfishness, rebellion, or even an attack on masculinity itself. There is a deep-rooted belief that a woman's value is tied to what she can provide for a man and the family. When a woman openly states that she doesn't want children or marriage, it disrupts this belief system. Men who have been conditioned to see themselves as providers and protectors may feel rejected or even useless in a world where women are no longer dependent on them for financial or emotional stability. But the frustration comes from a place of insecurity. If women no longer need men in the traditional sense, this what role do men play in this world? The media and social narrative have long reformed the idea that a woman's life is incomplete without a husband and children. Romantic comedies qualify or glorify love stories that end in marriage, and family-centered ideals are pushed as the ultimate goal. So when a woman chooses to live for herself, travel, pursue her career, or simply enjoy life without these social expectations, some men take it as personal rejection. It's not just about personal preferences, it's about defining what has been taught for centuries. There is also a control aspect to this resentment. Historically, men have had significant influence over women's choices, and a woman's independence threatens the dynamic. When a woman steps aside the system, earning their own money, making their own choices, and prioritizing themselves, some men see it as a loss of power. They no longer have the same leverage over women's lives, and that can feel like an attack on their authority. Another reason for this hostility is the perception that child-free and unmarried women are avoiding responsibilities while still enjoying the benefit of society. Some men argue that women who don't marry or have children are selfish, prioritizing personal happiness over duty, but the reality is that choosing to be child-free or unmarried doesn't mean avoid responsibility. It simply means choosing a different path. Women still contribute to society in countless ways, whether through careers, community services, or personal growth. The idea that a woman's only vulnerable contribution is through motherhood and marriage is outdated, and yet it remains deeply ingrained. The dating world has also changed significantly, and many men feel that child-free and unmarried women make relationships more challenging. These women often set high standards and have clear boundaries and refuse to settle for traditional roles. This shift has left some men frustrated as they now have to bring more to the table. Then just financial security. Independence means that women are less willing to tolerate an unhealthy relationship, and that can be threatening to those who benefit from the old system. Culturally, many societies still place pressure on women to fulfill traditional expectations, and men who uphold these values see child-free and unmarried women has a problem. They view them as outliners which disrupt social fabric, pushing ideas that could influence other women to follow the same path. The fear is not about individual choices, it's about the broader impact of those choices on society as a whole. If more women reject traditional marriages, then the entire structure of gender dynamics shift, forcing men to adapt in ways they might not be comfortable with. At the core of this resentment is fear of losing control and relevance. In a world where women are making choices based on what truly makes them happy rather than what is expected of them, traditional gender roles become less significant. This shift does not mean that men are no longer needed or valued, but it means that relationship must be built on mutual respect and genuine connection, rather than societal pressure and outdated expectations. Ultimately, the hatred toward children and child-free and married women is not really about them. It's about the insecurities and fear of those who struggle to accept change. Women have every right to define their own path, and the resistance they face only highlight how deeply ingrained these expectations have been. As society evolves, the hope is that more people will embrace the idea that a woman's worth is measured by her marital status or whether they have children, but by happiness, fulfillment, and the impact is making in the world on their own terms. So like this has been happening, and a lot of people have been having this conversation where when you see someone posting on TikTok that they're child free and they don't want to get married, men get pissed off. Like they feel so defeated. They always want to be control of women. But women are choosing their happiness. Now they're choosing to travel. They want to do their own things on their own terms. They don't want children. They don't want marriages anymore. And they want just to be free. And it's very important because by nature men they're like brought up to be taken care of, and if they see many women are now choosing themselves to take care of themselves, they feel like it's not right. You're supposed to be doing these traditional roles, but it's not a mandatory that you're supposed to do these traditional roles. Like it just comes from you, okay? And the way we are just brought up, like you're brought up like that, ladies are like that, they're just nurturing by your assist. But men like that, they take it for granted. Like you're good like that, you are just there for them, but later they'll shoot you like you never did anything. That's the truth. So expect anything and always expect for a switch for a man. Like they can actually switch anytime they want to switch. So be very careful when you're choosing partners, look around and also do a background check about them. What really happened if you're married? How did it happen? Because you find yourself in the same circle. So thank you so much for watching guys. I'll see you in my next episodes.